It's me, it's your favorite sentient fruit, and I'm back. It's been a while. I've just been suffering, I've just been suffering. And we're now in a class war, which I love. It alleviates my suffering a little bit, just a little bit. And I really want us to discuss. I want us to discuss the scam that is capitalism. I would like to introduce you to my new cult. Yes, I'm starting a cult. Let's join. And I also want to explain, I feel like a lot of people are confused, rightfully so, about what the fuck is going on with this GameStop, Reddit, Wall Street shenanigans, just all the billionaire shenanigans. So I'm gonna just try to explain this just to give context to what I really want to talk about, which is the fact that capitalism is crumbling before our eyes. It is crumbling. I've been thinking a lot about the battle between good and evil, and I've been thinking a lot about morality between light and dark, and how that relates to politics, how that relates to liberation, how that relates to capitalism. Because I've been thinking a lot about, will black people ever overcome? Will the working class ever overcome? And what I realize is that no one needs to kill themselves. You don't actually need to fight evil, because good never defeats evil, but evil always self-destructs. What I learned from the election and what I learned from Trump is that we didn't need to go and kill Trump. We actually didn't need to guillotine the rich, although we still should, just for the vibes, But Trump is basically self-destructing on his own. And that has given me a lot to think about. And we're seeing that right now with the end of capitalism. Capitalism is self-destructing. We don't even need to exert barely any effort. We can just sit back and watch, because that is the nature of evil. That is fundamentally the forces, the natural forces, the laws of the universe dictate that good never defeats evil, but evil always defeats itself. I love that for us. I love it. Anyway, why is capitalism crumbling? Let's start with explaining what's happening with GameStop and Reddit and Wall Street. So you're probably wondering, I'm finally going to put my business degree to use. This is the only time it's been useful to me, fam. The only time. So let me put it to use. So I'm going to explain essentially what's going on. Okay, so I'm going to use an analogy. Let's use mangoes. Pretend that I run a mango farm, and one mango on my farm costs $10. Okay, so my farm is in Bobo Land. That's where my cult is gonna be. It's gonna be lit. Okay, so I run a mango farm, and one mango on my farm costs $10. So everyone in Bobo Land loves mangoes. And in fact, they love mangoes so much that they pay Becky, who is a mango enthusiast, to find them the best deals on mangoes and to buy them the cheapest mangoes that she can find. So currently in Bobo Land, thousands of people decide to pay Becky $10 to buy them mangoes. And all of these people are Becky's clients. Okay, are you with me? So now Becky comes to my farm, because remember, I run a mango farm. Becky comes to my farm looking for mangoes to buy for her clients. She looks around and she notices that the mangoes on my farm just aren't as juicy and as ripe as they should be. So she clocks. She's like, okay, these mangoes are not looking juicy. So the value of these mangoes is definitely going to drop from $10 down to $4. So instead of buying the mangoes now, she's going to wait for the price of the mangoes to drop. Okay, are you still with me? Good, okay. So this is what Becky does. And this is where it gets confusing, because in the real world, you cannot borrow something from someone and then sell the thing that you borrowed as if it's your own, but in the stock market world you can. Okay, so this is what Becky does. Becky borrows a bunch of my mangoes and then she sells them to her clients for $10, knowing that the value of my mangoes will soon plummet down to $4. And then, so this is her plan, because she knows, or she's betting on the fact that my mangoes, the value of my mangoes will drop to $4. When the value of the mangoes drops, she's going to swoop back in. She's going to buy all the mangoes back from the clients that she sold them to. And then she's going to give them back to me, because remember, she borrowed them to me. And then she's going to keep the profit of $6 that she makes. So in other words, I borrow Becky mangoes. She sells those mangoes to her client for $10 because my mangoes at this time are worth $10. The value of my mangoes drops to $4. She buys the mangoes back from her clients for $4. She gives them back to me, and then she keeps the profit, which is $6. This is her plan. This is what is called shorting. So this is what actually happened on Reddit, okay? So essentially, the people of Boboland are not dumb bitches, and they realize that Becky is a scammer. And so Becky has borrowed mangoes from me, and she's waiting for the value or the price of the mangoes to drop so that she can buy them back and make a profit. So the people of Boboland clock what's happening, and they're like, this bitch thinks she's slick. And they join forces and they come flocking to my mango farm. They buy a whole lot of mangoes. And now that the demand for my mangoes is really high, the price of each mango increases. So Becky was betting on the fact that the price of the mangoes will decrease so that she can make a profit. But instead, because the people of Boboland have joined forces, bought all my mangoes and increased the value of my mangoes, the price of mangoes has now increased. So now, instead of the price plummeting to $4, the price of a mango has now increased to $20. But Becky still has to return all the mangoes that she borrowed from me back to me. The only problem is it's now going to cost Becky $20 to buy each mango back instead of the $4 that she hoped she was going to buy it back from. This means that Becky's now going to lose $10 on each mango instead of making a profit of $4 on each mango. So now Becky is shook. She's a broke bitch. And the more that people buy my mangoes, the more I increase the price of each mango, which means that Becky is fucked because she's broke. She's a broke bitch. Now Becky's bankrupt. Now, so since the price of mangoes will just continue to increase indefinitely, Becky's losses are also infinite. And at some point, Becky has to buy back all the mangoes that she sold to her clients because she borrowed them from me and she has to give them back to me. At which point, Becky will be bankrupt. LOL. Okay, so what's happening on Reddit and Wall Street right now is that basically a bunch of people on Reddit realize that this foolish goat, and by foolish goat, I'm referring to a $1 billion hedge fund. This $1 billion hedge fund took out a massive amount of short trades against GameStop. And then the people on Reddit clocked this and they were like, fuck this shit. So they convinced everyone on that Reddit thread to join forces and buy as much GameStop stock as humanly possible, which of course then makes the price of GameStop stock go up, which means the hedge fund starts losing billions of dollars. Eventually, that hedge fund has to buy all the GameStop stock back at a much higher price, which then makes the price go up even more. So now this hedge fund has declared bankruptcy. Now they are shaking in their boots. All of Wall Street is shaking in their boots. And the Reddit thread is like, bitch, wait, we can make billionaires shake in their boots. Let's go. So they're essentially they're going through a bunch of other hedge funds who are also shorting and attempting to also make them bankrupt. So now the people on Wall Street are shaking. Hoes are mad. And they're like, no, this is illegal. Oh my God. The public cannot join forces. This is illegal. When really it's not illegal. It's just them being beat at their own game. And that's why hoes are mad. So the reason that this is significant is because there is a transfer of power happening. Like there is not really, like this isn't like radical, but it's probably the most radical that we'll get in a while. There is a transfer of power happening where the middle class are officially mad enough, not the middle class, the working class / middle class are officially mad enough that they're like, fuck these billionaires, we're gonna fuck them up. And the reason that this is significant is because people are finally starting to realize that all of Wall Street is a scam. It's all a scam. It's all a scam. Capitalism, all a scam. Stock markets, all literally just a game. Like literally just an illusion. Last week, it is actually exactly 7 days ago, I posted on my Instagram story that the stock market and finance and Bitcoin, all this shit is just astrology for men. And it is actually, the hatred of astrology is rooted in misogyny, because Wall Street, stock markets, demand and supply, all this shit is actually completely based off of vibes. Like it's just vibes. It's a pseudoscience. And yet men have the audacity, just the nerve, to act as if people who buy into astrology are moving mad, when really they're the ones who have built an entire world around this fantasy and illusion that's based off of nothing but vibes. And hoes were mad when I posted this on my story, of course. Especially men were so mad. Men were mad. And it really makes people mad when you rattle the reality on which they base their entire lives. So after the election, I was actually pretty depressed.